How's it going, everyone? Kyle Bascombe here from FCP Euro, and I'm here to talk about the Mercedes W211 platform. I'll be covering the different model variants within the W211 family. We will go over the various engines and drivetrain options, and simply discuss why I personally love the W211 as an owner myself. Also, if you aren't already a subscriber to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button below to stay up to date on all of the upcoming W211 content we have coming out. So what is the Mercedes W211? As we discussed in the W204 video, the W actually stands for sedan, and the 211 stands for the model variant E-Class from roughly 2003 to 2009. Not to be confusing, but E-Class wagons from 2004 to 2009 are considered S211s. However, it's very rare to refer to that way stateside. We tend to refer to both the sedans and the wagons as W211s. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with how Mercedes model or class lineups worked at the time, it starts at their most affordable model, which was the compact luxury C-Class, and next in line was their mid-sized executive sedan, the E-Class. The E-Class is oftentimes considered the best balance between affordable and luxury within the Mercedes family, and is the standard in its segment. After the E-Class came the S-Class, which was considered the highest tier within the overall lineup. Mercedes sold approximately 350,000 E-Class models between 2003 and 2009. The used market has hit a sweet spot for these cars, as you can now get what was once a $95,000 E63 AMG for as little as $12,000 to $15,000 with roughly 100,000 miles. The W211 generally competes with the E60 BMW, that's the BMW 5 Series, and the C6 A6. Now let's take a look at the cars that I have behind me and discuss the various differences between them. We have two AMG models and an E350 4MATIC, all within the W211 family, yet different drivetrain types, different engines, different trims, and models. Deciphering the difference between them really is as simple as reading the badges, and they explain almost all of it. We're unfortunately missing a handful of models such as the E500, the 550, and the E320, but we will discuss them in this video. Let's quickly learn how to decipher the badges. The E obviously representing the class of car for 211, and that's followed by a number. That number quite simply reflects the amount of displacement the engine has for that car. So an E350 has a 3.5 liter engine, whereas an E550 was a 5.5 liter, and we'll talk about those engine specifics in a minute. But the next thing we're going to look at are some of the visual cues that can help you determine if you're looking at a sport or a non-sport model, or maybe a pre-facelift versus facelift model. Pre-facelift being 2003 to 2006 model years, and your facelifts being 2007 to 2009. Now, all sport models have front bumper styling that closely mimics the E55 AMG model. Additionally, AMG models have other visual differentiators. For sport models, the front grills typically contain black slats instead of chrome, and the front bumpers have very aggressively styled grille slats. On a non-sport model, you'll have a chrome grille and you'll have D-shaped fog lamps instead of the round or the oval fog lamps. If you're trying to differentiate pre-facelift versus facelift models, for the facelift models, the grills are typically much larger. The mirrors were restyled with integrated LED turn signal indicators. You now have oval or round fog lamps. Mercedes ditched the D-shaped fog lamps. The chrome trim that runs across the trunk lid runs the full length on facelift models. And the hood ornaments, they don't have the Mercedes laurel. They're just silver or chrome. Now for your AMG models, as standard, you had the blue tinted glass, bi-xenon headlamps with the active curve feature, quad exhaust tips, and the 63 models have slats on the side of the bumpers to exhaust the air for the additional oil coolers. Now, sport models in 2006 had an additional option package 951. That was called the AMG Sport Package, and it was offered on E350 and E500 models. In addition to all the other sporting cues, they also feature a sport badge on each fender. Now let's talk a little bit about the various engines that were featured in these models. For pre-facelift models, you had the M112, 113, or 113K engines. These were all single-cam engines within the same family. The 112 was your V6 model with 221 horsepower and was only equipped with a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now for the 113, starting in model year 2004, if it was rear-wheel drive, it came with a 7-speed automatic at 302 horsepower. And if it was 2003 or a 4MATIC model, it came with a 5-speed automatic transmission. For your 113Ks, it was a 5.4-liter 8-cylinder engine, supercharged, and produced 469 horsepower. This motor was only offered with the 5-speed automatic transmission, and it had speed shift programming for faster manual shifting. For facelift models, you had the 272, 273, or M156 engines. The 272 was a 3.5-liter V6. It produced 268 horsepower and was equipped with a 5-speed automatic transmission if it was a 4MATIC model, or 7-speed transmission for rear-wheel drive models. The 273 was the sister engine to the 272. It had a 5.5-liter V8, produced 382 horsepower, and very similar to the 272, if you had a 4MATIC equipped car, it had the 5-speed automatic transmission, and if it was rear-wheel drive, it had the 7-speed. Lastly, for the AMG models, you had a 6.2-liter, 507 horsepower hand-built engine. That was equipped with the 7-speed auto. It had AMG speed shift programming and a manual shift mode. Let's talk a little bit more about the drivetrain options for these models. For 2003, the W211 was rear-wheel drive only. In 2004 came the introduction of the 4MATIC, and that was available on all configurations except for AMG models. And as mentioned earlier, the AMG models only came equipped with the 5-speed transmission originally, and in later years, with the 6.2-liter engine, it had the 7-speed auto. Mercedes equipped the W211 with a myriad of brake system options from 11.8 inches, which is 300 millimeters, all the way up to 14.2 inches, or roughly 360 millimeters. Early vehicles featured the notorious SBC, or Sensortronic Brake Control, electro-hydraulic brake system, which Mercedes recently extended the warranty on for 25 years. This system was designed by Bosch and used computers to evaluate various inputs and then apply brake pressure to the individual circuits to stop the vehicle. There was no direct mechanical connection between the driver's foot and the hydraulic brake system. 2006 was the last year that system was offered on the W211. Now, one cool feature of the SBC-equipped vehicles was it had SBC hold. So if you were sitting in traffic and you firmly pressed the brake pedal at a stoplight, the vehicle would hold steady without you having to apply brake pressure. AMG vehicles had the largest brake systems with either 6 or 8 pistons in the front and 360 millimeter rotors. Early cars used single-piece rotors, and the facelift models used compound rotors. In the rear, they had a 330 millimeter brake rotor, and 4-piston calipers came standard. Let's talk a little bit about the suspension offered on these models. All models featured double wishbone suspension in the front and a 5-link in the rear. Rear-wheel drive models had divorced lower control arms, and the 4MATIC models had a traditional lower wishbone. The 5-link rear end that was first offered more than 30 years ago still remains, with revised geometry and aluminum links instead of steel. Earmatic 4-corner ear suspension was featured on all V8 models, and rear self-leveling was standard on all wagons. However, you can option a wagon with Earmatic 4-corner suspension. 2006 was the last year Earmatic was offered on V6 models, both gasoline and diesel. Earmatic was also offered as standard on all AMG models. Lastly, let's cover some of the interior amenities that were offered for the W211. Most of these features were offered across the board with minor revisions. So for steering wheels, you had sport and non-sport models either covered in leather, suede, or wood and leather. Sport models had a more aggressive steering wheel that offered paddle shifters as well. Keyless Go was an option. Keyless Go allowed you to start the vehicle with a button instead of using the key, or enter the vehicle simply by tugging on the door handle. To lock the vehicle, you just press the button on the door handle. You had various seat options. So you had a standard seat that was covered with MB-Tex, or you could have the vehicle optioned with leather. Additionally, you could get multi-contour dynamic seats, which had air bladders for lumbar support. It also had air bladders that allowed you to adjust the way the seat could hug you. Massaging seats were an offer. You had a pulse massage in pre-facelift models, and that was eliminated in facelift models. Seats could come heated and ventilated. You could get 4-zone climate control. And if you had a Performance Package AMG model, in addition to suede inserts that were featured on the seats and shift knob, you also had suede accents on the steering wheel. Mercedes would refer to it as Dynamica or Alcantara. Lastly, you could option the vehicles with a panoramic full glass roof. In conclusion, I really hope this video gave you a solid foundation for understanding what the W211 platform covers. It can be overwhelming the amount of variances you can find within one family of cars, but our goal was to clear some of that up for you. Please stay tuned to the channel for the videos we have coming out that dive even deeper into the specifics on how to maintain or purchase a W211, and a more technical look into diagnosing any potential issues you might find with one of these cars. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment box below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And as always, please subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing and would like to see more. Thank you. How are we feeling about that?
You fucking crushed that, dude.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
That's one.